And I've been teaching a lot of classes lately, or a few, on traditional fermentation, lacto-fermenting things. And so for those of you who haven't made it to a class and are interested in learning how to make your own fermented vegetables, I'm going to do just a really simple video on how to do your own homemade sauerkraut. Lacto-fermentation it's a transformation of the microorganisms under certain conditions in which naturally occurring wild organisms thrive and proliferate. So what you're doing when you're lacto-fermenting is you're adding salt to draw out the juices in this case we're going to talk about cabbage. The cabbage already has microorganisms in it that and the vitamins that are in it, and they are like, it's almost like they're enhanced just by adding the salt and then letting them ferment. So I don't want to overwhelm you with too much, but in 1 tablespoon of sauerkraut there are trillions of microbes to go into your body, to go into your stomach, your gut, and to give you a boost of nutrition, a boost of the good bacteria that we need to help keep our body healthy. So some more benefits of using fermented vegetables is that the fermentation process is they're pre-digesting the food for you. So when you eat lacto-fermented foods, your body doesn't have to do so much work to digest. So it's really good for anyone who has digestive issues, IBS, food allergies. A lot of times when people take care of their gut and put the good bacteria back in that gets damaged, a lot of the food allergies start to disappear. So what I'm doing right now is just chopping the organic cabbage. You want to make sure that it's organic because, like I said, everything's enhanced, and you don't want that to be pesticides that are being drawn out of the cabbage and put into your sauerkraut. So you can cut it as large or as small as you want. I'm going to have some big chunks and some little stringy pieces. The bigger chunks will take a little bit longer to sour, but that's okay. It'll be a good mixture. You could put it in a food processor and make it really fine, and that's going to make it so that your sauerkraut is soured faster, so it has more of a sour flavor. The good thing about raw sauerkraut, because I'm not going to heat it, is that it keeps its crispness. And we just finished some sauerkraut that I made last year, a full year ago, and it was still crisp when you ate it. So it holds its texture really well. It doesn't get soggy and limp like the cooked sauerkraut does. Let's see. I already mentioned that it helps us digest our food. It helps with yeast overgrowth, which is also called candida. Balances gut flora. We damage our gut whenever we do things like take antibiotics. I read somewhere that a child under the age of 2 that has any antibiotics is less likely to ever recover their gut flora without a lot of work. So this is part of the work to help rebalance the gut flora, because the good guys need to fight the bad guys. So whenever in everyday life we encounter bad bacteria, if we haven't helped our good guys get strong, they're less likely to fight off the bad guys. So I'm still just chopping away, and you could just go by taste, go by flavor. See what you like. You always want to use sea salt. Sea salt's rich in minerals. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. The rule of thumb is for every 5 pounds of cabbage, you use 2 tablespoons of sea salt. So once you sprinkle your sea salt on there, you start to crush. Just crush one way or another. I have some little tampers that you can tamp it down with, like a potato masher or something. But really, you could just use your hands. And once you get it so that it's all in the bowl and you've got it all salted and you're squishing, you can walk away and go do something else and come back and it'll be softer. The salt draws out the juices and the nutrition, and you squeezing it is breaking the cell walls. So it's going to get softer than it is when you first start. Eating this before a meal will help you digest your food. It helps break down proteins. It helps alkalize your body, which typically our diet in America is very acidic. So this is very good to add to your daily diet. Half a cup a day is a serving. So if you break that into 2 or 3 meals and you eat a little bit, a couple of spoonfuls before your meal, it's going to help you digest your food. Helps with acid reflux. So people who struggle with that after meals, they can have a few spoonfuls of sauerkraut before their meal, and that should help prevent the acid reflux. It boosts your immune system. 90% of your immune system is in your gut. So if your gut is damaged, then your immune system is damaged. It's not as strong as it needs to be. So once I get this good and squeezed and the salt to draw out the juices, then I'll come back and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so the next step, once you've got your cabbage broken down and you can see that the juices are starting to be released, you take your jar, any jar, and you just pack your sauerkraut into your jar. Mine is not as juicy as it's going to be. Once I let it set a little bit longer, it will continue to make its own brine. And when you push down, you want the juices to be up over the cabbage. So you just keep placing it in there. When you push down and the juice is up over the cabbage, then you know that enough juice has been released. You shouldn't have to add any additional brine to it if you've done the proper steps in adding enough salt. And you know that you've added enough salt when you taste it, and it tastes good to you. You don't want it to be overly salty. You don't want it to be under salty and too raw cabbage flavor. There should be a perfect balance whenever you taste it. And then you put a lid on it, and then you wait. And you burp it every day just by simply cracking the lid, and you'll see the bubbles come to the top, and then you put the lid back on. The next day, you burp it again. When it stops bubbling, when you burp it, you can put it in the refrigerator, or you can continue to let it sit on the counter. If your house is warm, it's going to ferment faster. If your house is cool, like mine's pretty cool right now, we're in fall, it's going to take a few more days. But if you like a really sour sauerkraut, just continue to let it ferment on your countertop, because once you put it in the refrigerator, it's going to slow the fermentation process down. So you can put it in a cool basement or a root cellar or something like that once you get the flavor you like, and then that's what you're going to have for the rest of the year whenever you dip into it. And this is a pretty easy way to do it. Pretty much everybody's got glass jars with lids, whether it be old pickle jars or mason jars. This should be done in less than a week. It's going to have a good sauerkraut flavor to it. You can do them in bigger crocks, and I may do another video on that another day, but this is a great way to start fermenting your own sauerkraut and having it available this winter so that it's ready and available to help boost your immune system daily as soon as possible. because winter's coming up, and we need to do everything we can to have good gut health, and so that our gut is balanced, our immune system is balanced. And something that I recommend to you guys is to look into the GAPS diet. It's the Gut and Psychology Syndrome diet, and she goes into a lot of detail about the health of our gut affects the health of our brains. And so a lot of people who have mental disorders that are along the lines of behavioral health, things like schizophrenia and bipolar and ADHD, autism even, that their guts are damaged and therefore their brains are damaged. And that once you start to heal the gut, that the brain begins to heal. And that can go a long way, especially if you're taking care of someone who has some of those issues. It can make your life a lot easier. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you see that it is so simple, so simple, and anybody can do it. Just make sure that your cabbage is organic and that your salt is sea salt, and that's it. So enjoy your fermentation, and ask any questions you have. I'm happy to help you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.